Steve White on the Rural Radio Network, visiting with State Senator Tanya Storer about issues of importance as the legislative session kicks off. How do you try to get your mind wrapped around what needs to be done, especially given that we're looking at a pretty significant budget shortfall here?
Yeah, I think I approach it like I do any other priority that I would have to make a decision on, and that is to just decide start with the things that are most important and focus on that, which, as you mentioned, is the budget. So I think it's the legislature's primary responsibility to manage the taxpayers' money and to balance the budget. So that is going to be the topic of focus.
I would expect anything that comes with a fiscal note attached to it's probably going to be a tough sell this year.
Yeah, those bills are virtually going to be dead in the water. We've been told, and I don't think we needed to have been told, but please don't bring anything with a fiscal note. So
given that the new funding things are probably not going to happen, it does allow us, though, to focus maybe at some other things. It allows us to focus on some policy things, whether that's zoning or things within the judicial space, those kinds of things. And I bring up zoning because you've got a bill in those regards that's carrying over from last year that deals with livestock zoning.
Yes. We are an ag state, obviously. Our economy here in Nebraska, but very specifically in my district, District 43, depends largely on livestock production. And so, having served as a county commissioner for 8 years, I had a front row seat to zoning issues.
Yeah.
And, learned some things along the way, but ultimately the bill that I'm carrying over that we're hoping to get over the finish line will do a couple of things. The big one is it puts a time clock on the period of time for the county boards to make a decision, to let those applicants know if they're approved or not approved. I think it's a very reasonable expectation that government has some responsiveness to the taxpayer and to the citizens in a timely fashion. And so this allows for 180 days, which is ample time for a zoning board and a county board to look at those permits, have their hearings, and ultimately make a decision.
It's such a tough issue because we believe so strongly in local control in this state, but we are also an agricultural state, and a lot of times the ability to bring the next generation back to the farm or ranch in a lot of cases is by adding something new to your operation. You're adding a hog barn that wasn't there, right. Or on row crop side, maybe I've got a marginal ground. Let's put a chicken barn or whatever it is. And it can be it gets tricky to navigate all those different factors, isn't it?
Absolutely. It can create a lot of controversy, and especially in smaller communities. But at the end of the day, not only is it important to be able to bring the next generation back, allow people to diversify, to utilize their property in a way that they see fit, but, it also relates to the property tax issue. As we continue to face the pressures of increasing property taxes, one of the ways that we help address that is we allow added value to come into our counties.
Yeah. And in those terms, if somebody does put up a chicken barn, that's a couple $1 million investment on a marginal piece of ground. That is rural economic development that's building the tax base, right?
100%. Yes. That increases the taxable value of your county, which can spread those dollars out and hopefully slow the growth of the overall tax burden on individuals.
For those people who are making an application to the county, just to at least have some certainty to know, I'm going to get a yay or a nay.
Absolutely. And as we all are well aware, costs go up every year. And so the longer those permits are delayed, the more financial burden that puts on the applicant and just kind of slows opportunities.
You're listening to the Rural Radio Network.